feels nice. Oh, I must remember to post that card. I wonder how my sister is getting on in her new job. Did I reply to that text message earlier this morning? I'm definitely going to go running tomorrow. Looking forward to my friends visiting this weekend. What shall I have for dinner tonight? Sometimes I feel like I live my life to a soundtrack of mental chatter like this. Who here is familiar with having that inner mental dialogue going on in your head? Yeah, thank you. It's an essential part of being human. Our brains have this amazing ability to think lots and about lots of simultaneous things. And it's important for helping us function. However, sometimes our thoughts can distract us from being in the present moment and the here and now and truly enjoying life. I experienced this when, in my 20s, I developed anxiety. And my thoughts, they took a pattern of rumination about past events. What did they think of my work? Worry about the future. What if this happens, or this happens, or this happens, and how will I cope? And negative thinking about myself. I'm just not good enough. I had this sense of fear, this ongoing sense of dread that something bad was going to happen. It was emotionally draining. And I physically felt exhausted as the stress hormones flooded my body. And all of this, feeling this way constantly, got me down. The more anxious my thoughts made me feel, the more attention I ended up giving them. And the more time that I gave my thoughts, like that, the more anxious I felt. And so it just was a cycle. Thankfully, I was able to access some talking therapy. And this helped me in many ways. Now, one of the things that a therapist I saw asked me to do was to start practicing mindfulness. Now, at first, I remember thinking, right, so I have come to see you, and now you're asking me actually to start listening to some guided audio by somebody else. And I also felt a little bit frustrated that I had so many worries that I felt I needed to solve each and every one. And I was being asked to sit still and focus on my breathing. I have to admit, I didn't quite see how mindfulness at the time was going to help me, given the anxiety I was experiencing. However, despite my skepticism, I like to be open-minded, so obviously I gave it a go. Now, before I continue telling you my journey and experience of that, I'd just like to try something. So I'd like you to all stay sitting, pick something in the room you can see that you like the colour of. It could be anything, be a piece of furniture, part of the lighting or the decor, anything you can see. And just for a short time, I want you to focus on looking at that. I'd like you to imagine that you're an artist and you want to paint that item that you can see. What colours can you see? Just think about that. What shapes do you see? What textures are there? How does the light fall on the object? And if your mind wanders, which it will at some point because that is what our minds do, just notice and bring your attention gently back to what you were looking at. Look at it with your artist eyes, seeing the details, enjoying being present. Thank you. You can stop now. Well done, everyone. You've just briefly participated in a guided mindfulness exercise. I hope that this brief exercise has intrigued you to find out more, or if you're already familiar with mindfulness, that it's just encouraged you to keep practicing it and practicing it in different ways. Coming back to my journey, I started practicing mindfulness. I gave it a go. And I tried different guided exercises of varying lengths, tried focusing on different senses, so my breathing, my hearing, like we've just practiced, my sight, my body and my movement. I practiced it in lots of different ways, and gradually through practicing that, I found ways to just learn to let my thoughts come and go and pass without having to engage in them. I also found ways to start applying that in my everyday life. So when I was on my commute to work, or when I was just walking down the road, I was able to be more present. And that, learning those mindfulness techniques, helped me break that cycle that I described of anxious thinking, and break that. And now I practice mindfulness to help me keep well and happy. And I can see why mindfulness, which has actually been around for a long time, with all the news and media about it, it's become really popular lately, and that is because it works. Mindfulness can help us all have a sense of calmness and clarity. Mindfulness helped me reduce my anxiety and feel happier. And mindfulness can help you be more present and enjoy life. No matter what life throws at us, no matter what comes our way, there's always ways to boost our well-being. As such, last year I set up Smile Being You. And through a website, social media and talks like this today, I'm sharing ideas, information and inspiration to help enhance well-being and happiness. You will find on my website, smilebeingyou.com, a blog that I published yesterday where I share a little bit more of my mindfulness journey and my learning with you. And you'll also find a directory which has a whole section of mindfulness resources to enable you to find out more and practice mindfulness for yourself. I'm pleased to share with you the benefits of mindfulness because it's really made a difference for me. And I hope one key point you will take from my talk this evening is to try and find ways to be more present in life. Whether that's through mindfulness or through something else, find a way to really enjoy the here and now of your life. Thank you.